Of the Board of Supervisors, they have a number of items on the agenda to include under old business, action to approve application for payment number 6, which is in reference to the Municipal Center's ongoing public safety and aesthetic improvements project. Under new business, the board will take action on a couple of more ceremonial items, the first of which being the administration of loyalty oath to Mr. and Mrs. Misters Geary for the Lower Paxton Township Fire Police. After that, the administration of loyalty oath will be provided to Mr. Ryan Wilson of the Lower Paxton Township Police Department. Following this, the board will take action to adopt Resolution 2023-18, which authorizes the acceptance of a number of, Resolutions 2023-18 through 2023-21, all of which authorize the acceptance of portions of various streets throughout the township, that being part of the annual subdivision and land development process. Following that, the board will take action on the adoption of Resolution 2023-23, which is the conveyance of all of those various road dedications to the County Clerk of Courts. Finally, the board will take action on improvement guarantees, the payment of township and authority bills, and then finally hear any lasting announcements. With all that said, members of the board are seated and prepared to conduct business. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Gottschall. I'd like to call this meeting of the Lower Paxton Board of Supervisors to order. I would like to ask everyone to please rise, and Supervisor Lindsay will lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. That takes us to the approval of minutes, this for the July 5th, 2023 business meeting and the July 11th, 2023 workshop. Is there a motion to approve those minutes?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
I'd like to announce the Board of Supervisors did meet in executive session prior to this meeting and will do so following. This is the time set aside for public comment. Public comment is for an item not on the agenda. If you are here and wish to comment or ask questions about an item on the agenda, you may do so at the time that item comes up. We also ask that public comment be limited to 5 minutes or less so that we can keep the meeting moving along as we have a long agenda this evening. So at this point, would anybody like to address the board on an item not on the agenda? Sir, please come to the podium and give us your name and address.
My name is Barry Shutt. I'm at 6413 Terrace Court, Harrisburg, PA. I'd like to request the township to allow residents to access the 35-gallon trash cans to replace the 96-gallon and the 65 that are supposed to be coming this month. 35 gallons are much easier to handle. There's a lot of residents in the township who do not generate 96 or 65 gallons of trash a week, and the awkward size of those cans are making it difficult for many residents to park their cars in the garage, and many of them are being set outside, which doesn't look good for the township. The company have those to replace the big ones, even if we have to pay for them. Township could buy them, and then residents who want them can purchase them from the township at cost. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Gottschall, any comment relative to that?
Mr. Chairman, would you like me to explain the process or
No.
feed?
I guess just that we are now going to be having the smaller containers swapped out here, in about 2 weeks?
Yes, sir.
So we're now going through that. How many of the residents requested the smaller containers?
So less than 10% of the population of the township. It's about, at the current moment, it's about 1,400 residents have requested to swap out. In addition, Penn Waste has provided some pretty good feedback relative to the collection to date, which has established that nearly 70% of the township residents who utilize the service do maximize their trash service. So those carts, 70% of them or so, are maximized, which is pretty consistent actually with industry standard and insight, and so we not surprised by that, but just some feedback from Penn Waste to date.
So we are, Mr. Shaw, we're still in the process of implementing what already, as you know, there's been a lot of changes with the trash service.
Yeah.
Change isn't easy for any of us. And so now we're going to embark over the next couple of weeks on going to the smaller ones. What the board has adopted sort of as a policy is we've had various suggestions about ways to sort of tweak the trash collection service. So we're accepting that feedback, that information, those suggestions. We're likely going to wait about a year just to let everything sort of settle in, get people used to all the changes. And then at that point, we will consider whether or not we want to make additional changes. But right now, we still have the major task ahead of us of moving from the larger containers to the smaller containers. So sort of one thing at a time.
Well, you say the smaller containers, 65 gallons. If you look at the measurements that they provide for the 65 gallons, they're not much different than the 96 gallons. Mm-hmm. But the 35s are significantly smaller and would accommodate a lot of your senior citizens. My wife and I don't generate 65 gallons worth of trash a week. There's a lot of people here I would think are in that same situation. Mm-hmm. And I would really implore you to consider the 35 gallon. Just get a minimum order and let the township purchase them and let people purchase them from you at cost.
That's a little more complicated than that, but we're not saying no. We're just saying let us finish getting the current changes in place before
May I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
Does a township own the containers that we have now?
Yes.
Okay. So when Penn Waste told me and several other people that they would not pick up trash cans that are not theirs, they don't have any if the township owns them.
Well, I think what they probably meant by not theirs is ours as well. In other words, you can't like go to Home Depot or Lowe's and buy a trash container and use that.
I understand, but that's why I called Rare Rig in Pacific. They have a facility in Erie, and they sell them.
A distillery?
They have a facility.
Oh, facility. Okay.
The distillery might
Sorry.
help too.
I was wondering where you were going with that.
But they have a
distillery
facility
we
in
might
Erie.
be willing to consider immediately. So.
They have a facility in Erie, and that's where they could ship 180 of each color to the township. So.
Well, like I say, we're trying to work our way through what we're currently trying to get done. And we've had various people come to us over the last few months with suggestions, all of which we're keeping track of. And we'll consider those once we get everything else in place.
But waiting a year puts everyone here, a lot of older people, to struggle with these things during the winter.
Yeah.
And I suggest that that's a problem. And the people who benefit are your residents, they're your constituents.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Schott, is that 35 gallons for both recycle and trash?
Yes.
For both?
You get each color, the blue and the green, whatever.
Mr. Gutschall, I have a question. We know we have a neighboring township that has the 35 gallon. Have you talked to them? Did they purchase the 180 and distribute them? Did they allow the residents to come in and purchase them? Have you talked to them yet about how they, with the 35 gallon, what they've done? I'm just curious.
No, not specifically. I have not spoken to them regarding that. As mentioned, I mean, maybe that municipality does have that option. As Mr. Shodem-Soar found out through his conversations with the manufacturer, there are essentially boundless options. I mean, there can be an 18-gallon container and anywhere in between. So it's, there could be various differences between municipalities, and it's difficult to kind of provide comparables because of various reasons, including geographic location. You have a number of accounts. There just were several factors that went into play with regard to how we established our contract, and it might not be easy to just compare us to, say, Swedera or Susquehanna, even though they're right next door and seem to be comparable. There's just a lot more
What
that
I was
goes
getting
into it.
at was I didn't know if they had an issue and they, and people were asking for the 35. So did they have an issue? It wasn't in the contract? Did they order the 180 and, distribute the 35 to, whoever called in first? Or, was it in the contract? I was just curious.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. I can get you some more information. on
Okay,
that.
I'd appreciate that.
If I can add to that, for our township, I think Penn Waste owns the trash cans in Swatara Township because they have their logo on it. In Lower Paxton, we have our Lower Paxton Township logo on it. So they own them, and they do pick up the 35-gallon with their automatic trucks.
Yeah, that's not going to be the issue. I'm just trying to figure out if that was in their contract, or did they have people like what's here tonight asking for the smaller cans? Did they do 180 and distribute those? Did they allow the people to purchase them? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Thank you.
Well, we can have those conversations with Penn Waste and get more information from them as to how that gets done. Please come to the podium and give us your name and address, ma'am.
My name is Linda Ziccarelli. I'm at 1134 Lonberry Drive. Just to confirm what he said, I find it very hard to believe that no one called, or just the few that this gentleman said called to order the smaller ones. They're only 3 inches smaller. Someone like me, I have a single-car garage. I don't have a basement. I cannot put them in. And there are other people, my neighbors, where the sensors are setting them off because we have single-car garages. I don't even have a basement. So there are others that are in that same spot. So these big cans are sitting out there. And I find it hard to believe that Penn Waste said that not many people called about it, because there's been a lot of complaints. I mean, I hear it around the neighborhood. So that's...
Again, that's actually a metric that the township keeps. So 1,400 people have called in
1428.
to receive a lower size can. So that's not just some metric that is a rumor. It's confirmed. So
We have specific numbers as to the number of people. It's been, about 1,400?
Yep.
So over 90% of the people, over 90% of the households want the larger cans.
1420.
So, well, we know that because they didn't call and ask for smaller ones.
We've had
Come to the podium and give us your name and address,
people
ma'am.
that have gotten 2 cans.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
What's that number?
Not many.
No.
Yeah, to be exact, I just checked in our packet this week, 1,428 have called to request the smaller cans.
My name is Pam Neal, Neill. I live at 415 White Drive. I can't believe here we are talking trash.
You're not the first.
When we received the mailing from the township about the change going to Penn Waste, and that paper, I think it was printed on both sides, that paper was chock full of information, and I think everybody who received that may not have seen the part which says that you may call the township and request a smaller garbage can, because there was a lot of information there and people don't take the time to really read it. And also, I really wish, I'm all about recycling, and I think that still a lot of people in Lower Paxton Township do not know what Penn Waste will accept. So I think that's something that should be information that should be given out to everybody in the township so that we are recycling the proper things. And also, I'm all for smaller garbage cans, 35-gallon. Again, I just cannot believe that so many people fill their recycling and their garbage, their big 96-gallon cans every week. That is just amazing to me. Thank you.
I will point out that The township sent out a letter to every resident. Penway sent out the piece that you referred to. We again repeated the information with the sewer bills in July, and there was information placed in the cans with the paper when they were delivered. And if you missed all of that, go to Lower Paxton PA, or hyphen, I guess would be more appropriate, lowerpaxton-pa.gov, and we have all this information on the website. So we've had 4 pieces of information delivered, and it's on the website. So that's about the most we can do. Okay, we sort of need to move. Ma'am, you haven't spoken yet. Please, no, please come to the podium and give us your name. However quick you may be, we want to know who you are. Welcome.
Corvée Ransom, 6406 Terrace Court. Brad, I heard you mention that we're definitely in the process of getting the switch over to the 65 gallons in a couple of weeks, because next door, the social site, next door, I don't know if any of you've heard of that, there are so many rumors on there that they're back ordered.
Yeah, no, I'm not familiar with that. I mean, the order's been placed. It's ready to roll. The crews will be out, and it should take them about 2 weeks or so to get the entire township covered. But yeah, there's no issue with the supply.
I would suggest that maybe one of you get on Nextdoor. It's free, and just see the stuff that's going on. I mean, it's false information that we just don't know what's true. So that's why I'm here, to get some facts. So I can post on Nextdoor, it's false. Hang in there.
I look at Nextdoor, and it's very difficult because
It is.
Nextdoor involves a number of different municipalities.
Yes.
And they
Yes.
all have different contracts. So somebody's putting something out that pertains to their municipality, which doesn't pertain to Lower Paxton Township, and then the
Correct.
rumors start.
Yep.
And then the arguments start. And
Yeah.
so it's social media. You got to take it with a grain of salt. You've got people that signed up that were living in Lawton, then they moved to another municipality, and you don't even know where the information's coming from. So you can't gauge its accuracy because you don't know where it's coming from. So it's
Exactly.
tough.
We would prefer that you do what you're doing now, or if you have a question, the phone number's on the call. We'll give you the answer. I would urge you to not believe everything you read on social
Oh,
media.
I don't.
But
I
you're-
sit back and actually.
You're always welcome to call
at
if
the
you have a
time.
question.
One other thing, I know you said people called in to get 65. There are a lot of people who are saying they emailed or.
Yeah, you can email
Yeah,
too.
they can
So
email
you
it.
have
Yeah.
those numbers too?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes?
Thank you.
Yep.
And the only Facebook page you want to believe is Lower Paxton Township Facebook page. Everything on there is correct.
Yeah,
And we
that's
do
the
answer questions
media site.
also.
Gentleman in the orange shirt, sir.
My name's Don Barbito, 895 Sunny Hill Lane. Just want to say 2 things. I hope this isn't a closed issue. The discussion worries me. I'm 81 years old, my wife is 80, so we won't be a problem to you much longer, but I do want to say that I have twice, I'm one of those people who can't stand trash cans. And if you drive through my neighborhood, they are in the street, they're on the sidewalk, they're on the lawns, they're next to the garage, nobody can fit them in their garage. My wife forced me to clean out my garage, which it was years overdue. I've lived here since 1991. So, and by the way, it's a great township. Thank you for everything. So we cleaned out the garage, put the cans right next to the door, and I've now twice cut my arm on the cans going out the door. Accident, my fault. I just want to point out that everything you've heard is true. Those cans are too large. You drive through my area, you'll see them all over the place. I've engaged a realtor, not to sell my home, but to tell me what the value of my home is and whether those cans will detract. Now, I say that seriously, because if you drive through my neighborhood, you'll see those cans are all over the place, and it's an ugly sight. So I'm asking you not to close the door, to give consideration to this, because I did not do a scientific poll. I walked up and down the street, knocked on the doors, didn't talk to any more than 20 people to be safe. Most homes in my area are just two folks in the home. There are a couple of families there, but that's about it. And nobody likes those cans. Now, that's not a scientific sample, and I'm not pretending it is. I'm just asking you to keep an open mind. Thank you.
Yeah, we it is an open issue. We hope you'll be around many more years, sir. But the whole switching over to this can, when we did the last contract with Waste Management, which was about 6 years ago, the issue of switching over to the cans and automated service came up, and the board at that time said, no, we didn't want to do that. This time around, there was no choice. Brad put out requests for proposal to 60-some companies? We got 3 that actually bid, and all 3 required the use of these cans in automated service because part of the problem, they just can't get enough of employees to put 2 people on a truck. We had over 1,000 complaints last year about Waste Management not being able to get particularly yard waste done on time. So the employee shortage drove it, the cost of trucks and all that. So it wasn't a choice that we made to go to this, but we had no choice either. So we ask for your patience because we're trying to work through this step by step. Somebody else had it, ma'am.
Kelly Leydon, Leydon, 6412 Terrace Court. I just want you to envision, with those giant trash cans, a woman like Vaughn or this lady here, pulling them from behind her townhouse, 6-row townhouse, in the middle of winter with the snow because she can't fit it in her garage because she has a single-car garage, and there's snow on the ground. So she either lugs it directly through her home or all the way around. It's a safety issue. It's beyond. I don't know what is allowed to be recycled in those. If the reason you have the large ones is because people want to put like construction waste and you can fit all that in a little at a time. I understand that, but they're just too big. And one other note the disappointment I was when you guys said we couldn't do temporary tags, because I'm in Florida half the year, and I know I don't get any sympathy here, but
tried.
So
we did.
Yeah,
we did try.
So I'm paying for 6 months.
Robin's correct. We asked. We tried. Nobody would do it.
Yeah, I relied on that. It helped budgeting and stuff, but now I'm paying for something I'm not even going to use for 6 months out of the year, and I'm paying a lot for that. And I have a 2-car garage, and I can't fit. I have shelves in the back. It was made for the right size cans, and I can't fit my car and my barrels in. And I cannot risk getting fined by my HOA because of my trash barrels that I didn't want in the first place. So I wish that you would not close this matter and find the solution for the much smaller ones.
We have, and I want to say, ma'am brought up she has a, I guess, 1-car garage and no basement. That's me and my wife, and it's really rough. And we didn't we try. We were one of the last townships to finally have to do this. We came on the board 5 years ago. The contract was up, and we said no, and Waste Management said okay, and then we said no again this year, and they all said too bad, they're coming, and just at the very least, maybe when the folks replace and trade down, because I see the cans out there too. It's getting better on my block, but when they trade down, maybe that will take some of them off the street. And I know about the townhomes and everything like that. We're one of the last. Other townships had to do it, and that we're not going through anything that other municipalities haven't. It's just they're not going to pay for 2 people on the trucks anymore.
Unlike Mr. Shutt, who says he'd be happy to buy his little one, I'm not happy because I'm paying for enough trash, and I don't want to have to buy it.
Well, yeah, there was the cost as well.
Yes, and I understand that, but I'm seeing you're adding neighborhoods, divisions, subdivisions, you're getting all, so the extras that you'd have, the 2 large ones that you could take from my house, if I could have the littler ones, that would fill that whole subdivision. You can have them
We
all you
seem,
want.
we seem to have a plentiful supply
We
of
have
the
pretty
larger
many.
cans.
I bet you do. And it's a thankless job, and I thank you too, and these gentlemen back here.
Okay,
for sure.
one more, if you would.
Hello, thank you. Isabel Berge, 1140 Lombardy Drive, Harrisburg. I just want to say thank you for taking the time to research the costs and taking that into consideration for your residents. I do appreciate that. And it is a thankless job, so thank you for doing everything that you do. I ask that possibly if you take some consideration before a year is up. I know you'd like to wait the whole year, but there are a lot of elderly residents in my neighborhood. I do have a one-car garage as well. I can get the trash can in. However, I am one that every time I take my trash can in and out, I have to realign the eye on my garage door, which is a issue. It's a security issue for me, in that there are times where I think my garage door is going down, and if I don't watch it completely close, it can be open for hours at a time, which I don't like to do. So that is a security issue for me as well. The size of the cans, as someone mentioned, I did do some measuring, and I'm really curious to see when we get those smaller cans, how they're going to fit in. I can't understand how there's a 30-gallon difference between the two, but yet there's only a 3-inch difference. So the only thing I can see is I think that they are taller and narrower, which for older people, and it's going to be even more difficult for them. You can't reach down into the can, you can't clean the can, you can't wash the can out and dump the water out. It is difficult. And I do understand that you guys are trying. I don't want you to all feel like we're attacking.
you. No, not at all.
You're all trying your very best. And you're right. We're in this weird era right now where nobody has enough help and everybody's just, trying to get by with what they can. Costs are going up for everybody everywhere, food and everything. So I just ask that if you possibly can look at this not a year from now, but even maybe 3 months from now, when we're in the winter months, to see how everybody's dealing. And it is, in our HOA rules, it does say that Lower Paxton, the rules are to keep your cans inside. And I'm a rule follower. I want to follow the rules. And I think there are a lot of people out there that do want to follow the rules. But in order for us to follow the rules, we have to be able to fit these cans into our garage and be able to maneuver them around. So I just ask that instead of waiting a year, you maybe reevaluate sooner than that.
Okay.
Thank you
Well,
so much for your
thank you.
time.
Thank you.
you.
Well, let us get through September and get the first trade out done. Then our staff has an enormous job in getting the billing out for the next cycle, because now your trash bill will be an itemized part of your sewer bill. So you'll have sewer, stormwater, and trash. The only bit of good news in all of this is because Waste Management billed ahead. You had already paid for the second quarter of 2023. Since we do our sewerage bills retroactively, you may have noticed you did not get a trash bill in July. So we essence got a quarter of no trash bills, because now, since we bill retroactively, your trash bill will be on your sewer bill. So to the degree there was any silver lining at all, we got a quarter where we didn't have to pay trash bills. So, but no, we will put this on the agenda of things to keep in mind here. Let us get through September and October, and we'll see where we are. Anybody else? Because everybody's had an opportunity to speak. Okay. Thank you. And by the way, you're always welcome to come and ask questions, make comments, call or email. That's why we're here. So with that, chairman and board member comments. Board members, do you have any comments?
Yes.
Talk about the size of these trash cans.
I have a comment.
Most board members may comment, but not Mr. Zumas.
I have a comment.
Yes.
This morning, Chairman Henry and Supervisor Zumas and myself, we attended the ribbon cutting for Chick-fil-A. So Chick-fil-A will be opening on Thursday at 11:30, so please go out and support one of the new businesses in Lower Paxton Township.
Yeah. We, interesting, we learned this is the only all drive-through Chick-fil-A in the state of Pennsylvania, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Although it's sort of cool, they have like a walk-up window where you can park and walk up and order, and they have some outside seating, but there's no inside seating. But they have 3 drive-through lanes, so hopefully that will speed people through, and we won't have a situation like we had with another chicken place. But yeah. Anybody else? Comments?
Yeah, next door it indicated they knew for sure there was going to be a traffic jam. I mean, if you read it on next door, it has to be true. Well, the guy that owns the property where Chick-fil-A is also owns Home Depot, and he owns that whole parking lot back there. So they've designed it where they'll go back and start utilizing some of the Home Depot parking, make sure that nothing goes out on Route 22.
And if they go out on Route 22, Director Kashiba here will take care of that problem for you.
And to the ladies sitting in the audience, the owner is a woman.
Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah. Mr. Manager, do you have any report?
No formal report this evening.
Okay. Okay, we will. We do have an item. I don't want to keep our individuals who are here to be sworn in tonight waiting too much longer, but very quickly, we do need to take action to approve the application for payment number 6 on the Municipal Center reception area renovations and safety upgrades. Those of you who came in, congratulations for finding your way into the meeting room. And the lobby, well, when's the lobby going to open for customer traffic?
The only thing we're waiting on, sir, at this moment is the installation of the access control.
Access control.
Our contractor's done his work, so.
Great.
Yep.
So we have a nice new lobby and a number of security enhancements to keep employees and residents safe. So is there a motion for payment number 6 for the reception area renovations?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Okay, that takes us to new business, where we have the great pleasure this evening of administering the loyalty oath to Edward Geary and Jeffrey Geary, who are going to be members of the Lower Paxton Fire Police. Director Koshiba.
Chairman of the board, members of the board, the Gearys are here before you for their oath of office for fire police. They'll be assisting Lower Paxton Township Fire Department's fire police as well as the school district police in directing traffic in and around the schools during the concerned times.
Great. Well, in which case, we will administer the oath of office. So, gentlemen, if you will repeat after me, I, and state your name, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office as a member of the Lower Paxton Township Fire Police, in accordance with the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, the laws of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and the ordinances of Lower Paxton Township to the best of my abilities. I further swear or affirm that I shall make decisions with the best interest of the citizens and visitors of Lower Paxton Township. Congratulations, and thank you so much for volunteering and for your service. We found out recently Lower Paxton Township is the largest municipality in the entire Commonwealth with an all-volunteer fire department. So that says a lot about our community and the volunteers who staff our fire departments and our fire police. So congratulations, gentlemen. Do you want a picture?
Gentlemen, you want your picture taken? Sure, go ahead.
Come up here. Members of the board, we'll do a quick picture, and then we have a police officer swear.
She must have set the large trash can.
These people have a problem and you're talking about it. Yeah, we might as well just stay down there. So, Director?
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, tonight we have before you Mr. Ryan Wilson. Mr. Ryan Wilson is 29 years of age. He's a resident of Middletown, Pennsylvania. He attended and graduated from Elizabethtown Area High School in 2012. After graduation, he enrolled in the United States Marine Corps, where he served as a Joint Forward Observer for 4 years. Ryan was employed by the Swadera Township Police Department for 3 years before joining the Lower Paxton Township family tonight. Ryan is joined this evening by his wife, Taylor.
Great.
Ryan, if you would raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Ryan Wilson,
Being duly appointed
as
as a police officer of the Township of Lower Paxton
a police officer of the Township of Lower Paxton
in Dauphin County, Pennsylvania,
in Dauphin County, Pennsylvania,
do solemnly swear
solemnly swear
that I will support, obey, and defend
that I will support, obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution and laws of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania,
the Constitution and laws of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania,
and the ordinances of the Township of Lower Paxton.
and the ordinances of Lower Paxton.
I will uphold, obey, and enforce the law
I will uphold, obey, and enforce the law
without consideration
without consideration
to a person's race,
to a person's race,
gender,
gender,
religious creed,
religious creed,
sexual orientation,
sexual orientation,
age,
age,
national origin,
national origin,
handicap or disability,
handicap, or disability,
and I will discharge my duties
and I will discharge my duty
as a police officer
as a police officer
with honor and fidelity.
with honor and fidelity.
Congratulations.
More pictures. More pictures.
Board of Supervisors would like to, you want to have your wife come up with Okay, Director, do you want to get in here? And if we can get a couple of folks on this side and then everybody get uncomfortably close. So. Sideways.
Doesn't like sun.
Adam's all thin and trim. Retired Army Colonel, welcome aboard.
Now we need to have you move from Middletown to Lower Paxton Township.
There you go. Well, now we get to the exciting part of adopting ordinances. Are they still doing something? You just say no.
So now we don't have.
I think they're doing congratulations. Okay. Okay, now, proceeding with items under new business. We need to take action to adopt Resolution 2023-18, authorizing the acceptance of portions of Scarlet Court and White Oak Drive of the Autumn Oaks development in Phase 4. Mr. Godshall, do you have any comment relative to that? It's fairly...
No, Mr. Chairman, fairly straightforward. This, along with the succeeding resolutions, deal all with just accepting the roadways per the saldo process. And here we are at this time of year again, where the board gets the chance to do that. So, unless you have any other questions, it's fairly straightforward.
Okay. Any questions, board members?
I assume they meet all our prerequisites.
Yes, sir.
Okay. In which case, is there a motion to adopt Resolution 2023-18?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Action to adopt Resolution 2023-20, authorizing the acceptance of portions of Secretariat Street of the Stray Winds Farm Development in Phase 9C. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Action to adopt Resolution 2023-21, authorizing the acceptance of portions of Stellatic Court, Colonial Road, and Kensington Way of the Estates of Autumn Oaks Development Phase 1B. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Action to adopt Resolution 2023-23, conveying certain previously dedicated streets to the Dauphin County Clerk of Courts Road docket.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second?
Second.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
We need to take action to adopt Resolution 2023-22, this authorizing the submission of the 6295 Lighters Lane Sewer Planning Module to the PADEP. Any comments relative to this, Mr. Godshall?
No, sir. This is, again, fairly straightforward. The board had already previously approved the subdivision plan, and this merely adds the sewer conveyance, if you will, into the DEP township overall comprehensive plan. So no other comments other than I'd be happy to address any questions you may have.
Okay. Is there a motion to adopt Resolution 2023-22?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
This takes us to subdivision and land development. We have improvement guarantees, of which
6 of them.
6. Okay. Anybody have an issue with any of those? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve the improvement guarantees?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion. We approve the improvement guarantees. Sheets, Take 5 Harrisburg, Grace Bible Fellowship Church, Amber Fields, Phase 6, Autumn Oaks, Phase 3, and 5875 Avis Lane.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
This takes us to payment of bills of Lower Paxton Township and the Lower Paxton Township Authority. Mr. Treasurer.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move that we approve payment of bills for Lower Paxton Township and Lower Paxton Township Authority.
So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any additional announcements from the board? Hearing none, the next meeting we'll have a budget workshop next Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. In the meeting room next door. And that'll be a budget workshop Tuesday, September 12th at 5:30 p.m. The next meeting of this board will also be a workshop meeting, Tuesday, September 12th at 7 p.m. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. And I like